Love him or hate him, Dave Ramsey is one of the most celebrated and sought after financial gurus that we do have in the system today. He has a great radio show. He has an awesome YouTube channel that I do follow, The Ramsey Show. Best-selling author, which we know, The 7 Baby Steps, which I do follow. They work incredibly well. And a lot of people don't think so, but in today's video, we're gonna be looking at the 10 genius things to do with your money, according to Dave Ramsey. And I'm gonna give you my take on these because a lot of them I do see on a regular basis. Starting with our very first one, eliminating debt before you invest. That is right, guys. Regardless of any portfolio, regardless of where it's built, you might have the one-off cryptocurrency, but debt is going to be a lot more expensive than investing. That is it. It is well-known fact that if you're carrying any high-interest debt, which credit cards are really the big thing that you want to focus on, but eliminating debt is essential to having more of your paycheck. We've said this time and time again. When you get paid, then you pay all your bills. Whatever you have left is what you have for debt repayment, or you have the ability to invest. So essentially that second bucket of your debts or the repayment phase, the more you can eliminate that and the faster you can eliminate that, that more you're going to have in the end game, meaning you're going to have a lot more to invest and the cycle will continue. Now, this really focuses on eliminating everything. This includes your personal loans. This includes your car loans. This includes all of your loans except your mortgage. This, of course, is baby step number 2 if you're following Dave Ramsey, but this step, again, is imperative. I have never seen people that, live a very, very stressed life with debt, and I've seen a lot of people that have debt paid off, and they have a different impression. They have a different view of life. Debt is really toxic when you look at relationships, when you look at personal finance, even when you look at the well-being of sleeping at night. Debt can be something that is absolutely horrible. But again, eliminating that debt before you start investing. Now, number 2, getting into harnessing the power of the snowball method. Now, we know this is one of Ramsey's absolute favorite. The snowball method, what it does is it takes your lowest balance going all the way down to your highest balance. You pay the minimum balances on everything except every single penny goes to the lowest balance that you do have in there. So you want to make sure you're making those minimum payments. You're not missing any of them. This, of course, is going to create a cycle. So essentially, once you take out that lowest balance, let's say your lowest balance is $500, once that is paid off, you're rolling it into your next debt. Not only the amount that you were paying for all of these minimum payments, but in addition to the minimum payment for the debt that you were just paying off and eliminating. This is why, and again, psychologically, this makes the most sense. When you start feeling and when you start seeing the elimination of debt, it really does create a snowball, and you will find some absolutely amazing ways to save money. Now, it's pretty impressive when it comes to an emergency that people that don't have any money, even people that have debt, somehow will magically come up with money and come up with an ability or really go above and beyond to get and pay for whatever emergency they had, because they don't have the emergency fund, but it always seems to be able to get money from somewhere. Could be a side hustle, could be a side gig, picking up extra hours, selling some things. There's some different ways to really eliminate and get rid of that debt. Number 3, building an emergency fund before you build your wealth. That is right. The emergency fund, and this is something that we always stress kind of in budgeting and hand to hand with the emergency fund, is if you have an emergency fund, it keeps you from going back to debt. That is it, guys. It is literally that simple. Even if you start with our baby emergency fund or the small emergency fund of just $1,000, which literally I was just having a conversation with someone today in regards to this, building up that first $1,000 in your savings account, keeping that as your emergency fund, and then putting everything towards debt. Again, as we can see this, and I have used this method for actually a number of years now, it works. It is tried. It is true. It is tested. I know Ramsey Solutions, all of them have done this for an incredible amount of time. But since I've seen this years ago, I've instituted some of this into the financial counseling program that I do, and it works incredibly well. Even looking at all of the classes and the courses that I've taken in financial counseling, they say eliminate debt. Eliminate debt. They say budget. A lot of things, again, go kind of hand in hand with this. Now, once you do eliminate that debt, then you bump that emergency fund up to 3 to 6 months, depending on your career, depending on your finances, and then we really go from there. But of course, give 15% of your paycheck to your future self. A lot of people do not believe this, and a lot of people do not agree to it, but it really gets to the point of paying yourself first. Once you've eliminated your debt, It is time to pay yourself first, and it is time to pay yourself every single paycheck. So if you're allocating 15% of that paycheck, that is going into a 401k, that is going into a Roth 401k, a Roth IRA, money that's going into an HSA. It is a game changer for literally the rest of your life. Now, again, I have tried and true this. It is proven. I've been putting away 15% of my paycheck for an incredible amount of time, sitting with over $500,000 invested. It snowballs very quickly when you start getting to larger numbers, meaning that as we keep putting money away, and we're going to do this for years and years and years, it is the compounding aspect. Just like we see with that debt snowball, the opposite works when you're putting 15% away, meaning that as you start seeing the compounding interest, it is only going to get bigger. It is going to get faster as the investments grow. Now, as we look at 2023, the stock market was doing incredibly. Even now in 2024, they are saying with the economy, it is poised for a massive year of growth. So if you're not investing into the stock market, I would really advise it. I always do ETFs. I do not play the game of individual stocks, but you can actually go in there and invest in some really strong ETFs and you will do incredibly well. Now, the next one, keeping up with the Joneses. This is another comment that I literally heard this morning. It is an unwinnable game. If you buy a new car, they buy a new car. If they buy a better car, you get a new car. This goes with everything. It is a game you do not want to play. You do not want to keep up, and you do not want to buy things that, one, do not provide value for you, and two, do not have and do not build an asset. That is something that I really started doing years ago, is buying things not only of a better quality, kind of on the frugal mindset of, hey, I only got to buy this thing one time instead of buying them 10 times. But in addition, really knowing the value of things and what is the asset. So if I'm spending an absorbent amount of money on a car, that is a huge depreciating asset, meaning that the money that I put out for this car, I am never going to get back, period. If I buy a car right now, 4 years down the road, the car is going to be worth a way lesser value than when I did purchase it. It is a depreciating asset. You are never going to get that money back. Now, I do know that you need a car. However, there's a difference between buying a new car for 30, 40,000 or buying a new car for 70, 80,000, which same car gets you to point A to point B. Same car is also going to make just a difference in your driveway, just visually looking at it, maybe some bells and whistles. But overall, again, looking at the asset factor of it, you're going to be losing a lot of money with that vehicle. Utilizing money-saving technology with applications, with software, with gadgets, there are so many things out of there that if they are used properly, it does incredibly well. Even looking, the Every Dollar app that Ramsey Solution has, even looking at, Rocket Money, there are so many things out there, even Mint with Ryan Reynolds. There are a ton of applications and a ton of software that we can't even imagine years ago when we actually budgeted, with pen and paper, which I still do. I love writing it down, but looking at smart thermostats, looking at banking apps, looking at how many high yield savings accounts there are, how many investments, how many zero fee investment accounts that you can get is kind of crazy. Personally, I use M1 Finance. I have a link right down below, guys. If you're looking to do IRAs or investing, it is incredible how it works. And again, there are no fees for the trades. There's so many things that benefit from this app. In addition, if you like the content that I'm putting out there, please consider subscribing to the channel. Really helps a lot. Give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments which one you like in the best of here. Next one we look as bucking the trend or going low tech. A lot of people do this. When you look at phones, when you look at technology, computers, this is something that literally people put into a money hole and a money sink. So the iPhone 10 comes out, you get a new one. The 12 comes out, you get a new one. The 13, the 14, the 15, so on and so forth forever, which means every couple of years you're upping, 1,000, 1,200. I believe the new phone is 1,500 plus, depending on what you have, which means not only are you in a perpetual cycle of having a phone bill, but you're also in a perpetual cycle of paying for those phones. Most of them, based on the value, are set over 3 years, which means you're going to spend the next 3 years paying for your phone, depending on where it is. Now, of course, there are a couple places that you can get it for free if you switch, if you want to play that game. But overall, it does cost money to play that game, and it does cost money to switch. Now, putting what you know into practice is our next one. Again, a very important one. The more research you do, the more you manage your money, the more that you actually take care of it, You can build a budget. You can go in there. You can create your spending plan. This is something that is going to invest and really invest for you, invest for your kids, invest for your grandkids. This is huge. Really winning at money, 80% of it is behavior, 20% is knowledge. If you're doing these things on a regular basis, you are going to be successful. If you're putting away 15% of that paycheck into a Roth product, whether it's an IRA or 401k, you are going to grow that incredibly well over the next years. If you're cutting back on your expenses, if you're monitoring exactly what you're buying, all of these things are going to save you if you put it into practice versus just knowing it and knowing what you should do. Most people know what to do, but they never do exactly what they need to do. Procrastination is the number one killer of a lot of different people. And of course, this is the reason why you're never going to be wealthy. Next one we look at is entering the grocery store without a plan. I love this one. Every single time I go to a grocery store, I have a list. I've said this before and you've seen it in other videos. I buy what is on the list. I don't deviate. If they do not have something, I don't buy a supplement. I don't add anything that is not on that list. It is literally, if I have 10 items on a list, I come back with 10 or less items, period. I am not going to change the ingredients. I am not going to, buy things that are outside of the ordinary. There's not going to be any impulse buying from me at all. I go in there with a plan. Don't deviate from the plan. It is a pitfall when it comes to there, and especially like they say, if you go shopping hungry, you're going to come back with a lot more food. You're going to come back with a lot more snacks. A lot of people also do the online ordering. They do the pickup or the delivery. This is very easy to do. However, you might overspend in this nature. But again, sticking to the list is imperative. And the final one, you don't know what you know. This is, of course, on the investment aspect. Now, overall, if you are not an investor, if you have no interest in investing, get someone that does. Have someone in your corner. Make sure you know exactly how they're investing. Come up with a game plan with that individual so you know what you're getting. When you really kind of wing it, or even, personally, following investment advice on YouTube, follow investment advice on TikTok. There's a lot of different places, but you have to have someone in your corner. You have to have someone who is certified, who has the licenses, who can do the investment, not just individuals that are reading articles. But when it comes to the investments, like I had said before, I only invest in ETFs. That's even going back to Warren Buffett, where he says everyone should own the VOO. If you just invested in the VOO, it is yielding year over year. When you look at the last 15 years, about a 13.8% return, which is absolutely incredible. But again, having someone that is a certified investment advisor that you know is good, that is good with money. You have a greater chance of doing a return if you're not doing it self-investing, if you're not doing it by yourself. And again, if you're not spending the time and effort to really understand the financial products, what is out there, what is offered, what is the best plan, and then also going kind of hand in hand with the tax advantage of doing that plan. Get someone who is in your corner. Even if you got to pay that 1%, it is going to be worth it, because in the long run, knowing and having your investment where it needs to be is going to yield you better returns. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Definitely Dave Ramsey, some genius things to do with our budget. And of course, thank you guys for watching.